Warning. This is not your normal podcast. Its purpose is to provide thought-provoking dialogue with a slanted perspective. Here we encourage influential conversations. Give us a listen, like and share. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to CEO and the Doctor.
What's up, boys? Welcome to the show. One newcomer, Big Ike. Got Will back again. Been a minute since we had him on. Doc, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, man. I'm great. It's good to reconnect with everybody.
Absolutely. Let's go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves or reintroduce themselves. I'll start with somebody that's been home before. What's going on, Will? Welcome back.
Not much. It's good to be back. It's me, Mr. Are You Serious, aka Will. Just looking to joining the conversation and get my perspective out there on things. So, how y'all been?
We good, brother. Appreciate having you back. Big Ike, this is my boy from basically high school till now. So we celebrating somewhere in the 20+ year range almost. Welcome to the show for the first time in 4 seasons. How you doing, big boy?
What's up, man? What's up? Yeah, I don't got a cool intro like Will.
In a few words.
Yeah. Oh, I got shit to say. I just don't got a cool intro.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, we appreciate you guys coming in and joining in the conversation on this particular episode. So the genesis of it actually started in just one of our group chats. When first of all, listeners, we're gonna start this off kind of strange. We're gonna start the discussion on this main topic. Do headlines impact support of brands and products? And it started in one of our group chats when we found out that there's a lawsuit pending against Tesla for a racist work environment. The article basically said that the black employees were kept on another part of the plant, and it was called the plantation, and the N word was tossed around kind of like freely, very free. So the question was posed: now that you know that, do you support Tesla? Do you buy Tesla products?
And and it's not just to take a knock at them. They just the newest ones, but we had Gucci, a few years ago. We had H&M a few years ago. There was actually somebody right before Tesla too, slipping my mind, because we discussed that, and so it got us all thinking, right? And like we not rolling into segments tonight, we just jumping right into conversation. Does your affiliation to a product, a brand, I used to tell people all the time, because I love Nike, I'd be like, I'm loosely associated with Nike, they sponsor me because that's all I really rocked, but we know Nike has its issues about, how they produce their shit over in Malaysia and whatnot. So moral of that story is, a lot of people have a lot to say about whatever company when it's not something that they may, support. You know what I mean? So I read some shit online. I'm like, oh, I don't fuck with Chick-fil-A anyway. I read some other shit online. I was like, I can't afford a Tesla, and Tesla whack to me anyway. So whatever. But then something come out about some shit that I like, and then it's like, well. Let me backpedal a little bit because I don't want to look like, what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's always different when it's on your doorstep.
Yeah, we wanted to bring some new voices on here and give them, the floor. I know Ike, like I said, is one of my best friends, honestly, from the time we've been fucking 16 years old. I know he's very opinionated. Will got a perspective on everything, very opinionated. So highly educated individuals in this group, but more so very opinionated. So I'm gonna start the floor with Ike. Ike, let's jump into this. So you tell me how you feel about situations like this in general, not just Tesla, just in general.
I really don't have a lot of brand loyalty. Like, I think the closest thing I got to brand loyalty might be Nike for basketball shoes. So if they did something super fucked up, I don't know. Or if the NBA did something super fucked up, I don't know. But if it's something that I'm just like loosely associated with, like the NFL, like I casually watched it, then all the fucked up shit came out. It wasn't just like the Kaepernick situation. It was like them hiding results of medical studies on TBIs, them protecting like grown ass men that beat the shit out of women. And then on top of that, the Kaepernick is like everything.
Yeah.
And they're just like, fuck it, we're not going to do anything. So
Thanks.
like, yeah, I'm good. Jimmy John's, Papa John's, like I just kind of like scaled back the amount of pizza I ate. I can't say I completely stopped. I've had like maybe 2 or 3 pizzas ordered from them in like the last 5 years or whenever that came out.
Yeah. Well,
but
it's not enough to keep him in business, so you're good, Ike.
Yeah, if you go back though, I mean, the majority of companies have done some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I don't think I can name one company that I would say hasn't. Every single one of them probably has if they've been around long enough.
Okay. Will, you go ahead.
Microsoft has, Apple has.
Apple still does, and I would say I'm brand loyal to Apple. You know, all you guys know I've got a bunch of their stock too. So, you know, I'm sorry, it's difficult to just instantly just cut some business off. And like you illustrated, there's some businesses I just don't like. I just don't even associate with them, whether they're doing some off the cuff shit or not, racist shit or not, or mistreating their people. I just don't support. Like I don't like Teslas. You know, we touched on that. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will. Share your piece.
Oh no, you know, it's I have no brand loyalty. You know, one, my feet too big for any kind of shoes and all that. You know, I ain't gonna get into that the whole Nike thing, but you know.
Hello, man. I wanted to see you with the Peloton. You got to take a picture with your Peloton riding shoes on, bro.
They don't have them in my size.
What you riding on? What you riding with?
I ride with my regular old gym shoes.
Oh, top, like you not clipped in?
No. So what you do is you flip the pedal upside down, so you got the flat part, and you just ride.
Does the seat go high enough?
Yeah, you go high enough.
Bro, T gonna have a blast with that. We've been talking about that.
Wow.
Anyway,
no, so like you know, what I'm saying, I really don't have any brand loyalty. You know, one incident can throw people off. You know, what I'm saying, he mentioned Papa John's, Jimmy John's, Papa John's, Jimmy John's, Sister John. It don't matter. It's a John, right? Chick-fil-A. Like, I'm gonna eat Chick-fil-A. I ain't got nothing against the LGBTQ, the alphabet community, whatever you want to call it. I have nothing against it. I'm gonna eat my chicken from Chick-fil-A all day, every day. Like, what Chick-fil-A got going on against the LGBT community, that's on Chick-fil-A. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you got to look at things as far as, you know, I mentioned Nike, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people hated Nike for about 2 or 3 months, if y'all remember, when those Satan shoes came out. It really didn't have anything to do with Nike, but because it was a Nike shoe, like people, you know what I'm saying, they were out there, you know, ill will and ill mind about it. Now, as far as, you know, what got us talking about this topic, Tesla, hey, it sucks. It's horrible. I don't own a Tesla. Probably never will own a Tesla. Don't want a Tesla, but I'm gonna get that Tesla stock. But you know, that's gonna put money in my pocket. That's not necessarily saying I condone or you know, condone anything that they're doing. You know, the whole plantation thing. I didn't read that. I didn't know that part. So that kind of got me a little sidetracked. But yeah, I mean, Papa John's, I'm like Ike when it came to that. I just pretty much scaled back on the amount of. I don't eat pizza like that anyway. But Papa John was my go-to when I did eat pizza. So once that came out, I kind of stopped.
I used to, yeah.
We
used to smack
and then, you know, Everybody, a lot
Shit,
of
we
people
used to
like, well,
work there.
yeah, right. So, and then Shaq became a chairman, and everybody, oh, just because they got one black person on a chair, what I'm saying, on the board of directors or whatever you want to call it, it's not gonna make a difference from what happened. And I think that's what we fail to realize throughout all these situations. You can support the things you want to support, but just don't forget about the things that has happened within those companies.
Yeah,
That's real.
and like I mentioned before we started, for me, I look at what a company's done in their past, and if they're still operating on the same capacity currently, then that calls into question whether I will support a business like that. If I haven't previously, and I do find out that they're doing some shady shit, then I won't support them. It's obviously something that's not a facet in my life, so I'm not going to start introducing these things into it. But in regards to a lot of things, like I mentioned, just about every company in America has done something wrong. I mean, if you do enough research, you can find out that a lot of the companies, a lot of the banks, a lot of the schools, a lot of everything has had some part in slavery. Okay. And like you and I talked about before, CO, these companies are still existing. And the foundation of their profits and their growth has been from slavery. Now, something we just can't cross off because we don't have access to our own as a people. So until we get more banks and things like that, and we get it's impossible to. But you have to, in my opinion, is really you find what your measure of tolerance is. What are you willing to put up with in regards to the companies that you support? Can you draw a line, or can you draw enough of a line to where your support implies benefits in your life? Like Will illustrated with Tesla. He may not ever drive a Tesla. He doesn't have to support Tesla, but he wants the stock because that affects his life. That enhances his life, the potential to enhance it by owning the stock, because we know how the stock performs. So it isn't as concrete or cut and dry as yes and no.
And that's a good point. You bring up a good point, because now as I'm starting to remember where this conversation kind of derived from, remember it started initially with Spotify, Joe Rogan. Yeah, it was a push to cancel him, and that one day we were all just talking to group, and it was like round robin, everybody like disco on their accounts, boom, 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 boom. Then a couple days later, a couple days later, it was Tesla, and I was like, yo, are they banned from the list too? So in my questioning for this next round, you guys already kind of touched on it's based on your situation, which I understand, but why is it so quick to action on the things that you don't necessarily put a lot of value in? And I'm saying that loosely because, like, for instance, it's a lot of stuff that happens on Spotify. For instance, our podcast is truly hosted by Anchor via Spotify. So I bring that up because Joe Rogan isn't all of Spotify. Yeah. He's just probably their biggest headliner as far as podcasts. So why not just discontinue or unfollow his show or whatever it may have you? Right. Why are we thinking about the financials of that company and our support versus?
Because Spotify isn't paying $15 million for every podcast.
I wish they would.
15 million. Yeah, I wish they would too. And y'all could get some Teslas.
This boy's stupid.
No, but the thing with Spotify was that they're paying this fucker $15 million to basically say racist shit and also like put out misinformation on COVID.
Yeah.
I think if they wouldn't have been paying him $15 million, it would have been less of an issue.
So now are those things intertwined though? Because that's what a lot of Joe Rogan supporters or whoever was saying basically is like, well, I feel like this is a witch hunt based on his stance on COVID, because most of everything he said was between 8 and 10 years ago. And I listened to the clips. I'm not giving the man a pass. Please don't think that. But it's like he's telling stories in a explanatory way using the word, and I guess there's no cause to be like, oh, you could say it this way, but it doesn't come out their way. When you say it,
Right.
it's said. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not like he was like, yeah, fuck them, N-words and them motherfuckers. I hate all N-words. And all. It wasn't coming out of his mouth like that. He was being descriptive in a story, which was still bad, especially the monkey part. The monkey part was really bad when he talked about being in that neighborhood in Chicago or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And that was really fucking cringy. But it's like that shit has been out there for a decade. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden now, boom, let's hit him for this. But is it tied to that COVID stuff?
But we've gotten to a place in our society now where people forget that they have a closet right behind them with skeletons of their own. Now, me saying that, I'm not justifying shit Joe Rogan has said. I don't listen to his podcast. I've never been a fan of his. So it's another one of those situations where I don't have to do too much heavy lifting because I was never a fan. But the larger issue for me is how we've gotten to a culture of cancellation. There's no forgiveness in the things that people have done or said in their past. When all of us have done things that we've begged for forgiveness for, and is that right or wrong? I'm not here to be the social police or do anything like that, but I try to live according to how I feel in regards to this thing. I don't readily judge anybody. Again, I didn't like Joe Rogan in the first place, so it's not like I had to do any heavy lifting again. So it wasn't one of those situations.
So Quick asked you, why do people get mad when they find out things people did in their past?
Man,
good question.
That's because people want to always have something that they can hold over your head, point blank.
It's vulnerability.
Exactly the vulnerability part. We can look at what they did to Kevin Hart when he came up for to host the what was it, the Oscars?
Oscars, yeah, whichever.
Yeah, the Oscars. Yeah,
he said that was a dream of his whole entire life. And just what I'm saying, when anybody comes up upon something that they're looking forward to doing, somebody always have to dig up something. Not saying that that's Joe Rogan's case, but like you said, that was from 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and he's already apologized for it.
Exactly.
Right.
And again, nobody's.
I was trying to find an example of someone getting canceled that didn't deserve it, and I think that might be the only one I could think of.
Yeah. Nobody's giving them a pass. Like, no, we're not giving them a pass, but this cancer culture that we have is so everybody can feel like they have, oh yeah, I'm a part of that. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, like, okay. This moral superiority shit has got to stop, man.
It's too much.
The
whole, who else they try to cancel?
Hell, you name it.
That's what I'm saying. We can take this cancer culture way back to look what they try to do to Ellen DeGeneres when she came out.
Look. The fact that you have to think of someone that has not illustrates how much of a problem it's become.
Yeah, Whoopi. Oh shit, good point. Whoopi just was semi-canceled for her statements on the Holocaust. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what she said it wasn't about race, it was about humanity. And I agree with it. I agree with that. How you gonna say it's a race issue when it's white on white? I agree with her.
Yeah.
It was just some horrible fucking people that didn't like some other people.
Facts.
Not only that, you also got to look at how most of us, I'm talking society as a whole, take things out of context. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that video of Dave Chappelle at the town hall meeting in Ohio.
Yeah, man.
And they blew that all out of context. He wasn't saying he's not for, the housing act out there in, what was it, Young's?
In Yellow Springs.
Yellow Springs.
Mm-hmm.
What he was saying is, if you don't do it right, I'm taking my money out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just what that clip that they showed could easily be taken out of context. But him and the rest of the community, they were saying, if it's not done right, where it's actually helping people who need affordable housing, then we don't want it in our community. And they blew that out of context, and now they want to cancel Dave Chappelle. Right? I mean, they've been wanting to cancel him since his last special.
Yeah,
and before
that too.
Yeah,
it's clickbait.
Yeah,
and the way they write the headlines.
Yeah, Clyde, that's what we talked about like last week when I sent you that clip about the pastor saying, white blessing or whatever.
Oh,
now, like I said, I wasn't condoning what this man said. It was completely, in my opinion, completely out of line. But I understand that there was probably more to the message. But if you put a 20-second snippet on any social media, it's there for just the sensationalism of it. And we've got to get back to a place where we seek out more information and we look for content and context before we make judgment. But these days it's just everything comes in a rush. It's so fast. We get information within seconds and we judge it and move on to the next judgment and the next judgment and the next judgment. And then one day we're going to find ourselves as the one being judged.
Okay, so then this poses the question: at what point, right, does your position or your stance, I guess, toe the line of having like biases, right? You've clearly stated multiple times in different parts of this show already that you don't like something, so you already have a bias to it. So headline comes out, boom, you quick to I'm not pointing at you guys, but I'm saying you quick to say blah 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 blah, whatever you say, really quick. Mm-hmm. But then you make the argument what he said earlier, talking about Will, like, oh well, stock options, I might not ever buy a Tesla, but I'm gonna get that for that money. That's a little bit different. I think people, like you said, are quick to judge you what you say. They don't really know what's going on in Will's portfolio. They don't really know previously until you said it that you don't have fiction for Tesla. So how do we make an argument for something, I guess, without there having those fingers point back at you? Well, 2 weeks ago, y'all said blah, 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 blah. But here you are still supporting this company because you like it. I feel like that's where we live in this world, too, because people will be quick to say whatever they need to say about the company they don't really mess with. But you come at my Nike, come at your BMW, come at the NBA, like Will said. I'm sorry, Ike said, take Will's Chick-fil-A, whatever. All of a sudden you're standing with your company because like, hey, I like my chicken, hey, I like watching hoops, hey, I like my BMW. So how do we justify the positions we take? I think a lot of people have that question because it's like, well, damn, I do feel a certain way, but I also feel a certain way over here. And it looks, it looks kind of contradictory. It looks kind of like, man, you sound kind of hypocritical, bro. Like, I don't know if I should listen to what you say at all. And I think that's what happens on a bigger scale. Mm-hmm. But in our own little communities, our own little cliques, we can have that same situation. So what do y'all think about that? Does anything you say run the risk of being too biased to the point you're not even looking at the things that you already said you don't do? Like, I don't fuck with Tesla, so fuck them. But
it
don't fuck with
it most definitely can be. I mean, I look at it from a whole social aspect, right? A daily living type aspect, right? How many people out there do you know, or how many people out there do you think know that, what was it, last year, Target settled a racial claim for over, what was it, like 60-something million?
Yeah.
So if people found that out right now after me just saying it, would they still support Target? Would they still go shop at Target? Hell yeah, they will, because what other grocery stores other than Walmart, if you're out here in the South, Food Lion, stuff like that, Publix and stuff, you know what I'm saying? What other stores are you going to go shop at? A lot of people don't like shopping at Walmart, so they choose Target.
Right.
So
I was just at Target today.
Lesser of two evils.
See, that's what I'm saying. So if both stores have some racial stuff going on, would you just not go shop?
Right.
Well, here's the thing.
You can order off Amazon, which also has their own shit.
You already know.
Amazon got a ton of shit too.
Order off Amazon, but Amazon also deals with who? Target, Walmart. So either way, there's no way around it.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, that makes a point. Like, so in a situation like that, you're stuck. You're in a rock and a hard place. But what about something that's more prevalent? Take shoes. Yeah, you go just stop rocking Nike and just say, fuck it, I'm rocking New Balance now. Done with it.
Why are you fucking New Balances? I'll just stop playing ball.
You'll start hooping in some Asics and some Under Armour shoes.
I'll just stop. It depends on what they did.
I just think that, it's really anything we do in this life is up to personal preference, man. And, anytime that I find criticisms with something, they're my criticisms. I'm not trying to convince anybody else to criticize them too.
Okay.
So these are my decisions. Now, I don't like the fact that Apple has sweatshops in China, but I love my fucking iPhone.
Here we go. Now we heavy hitting.
The thing is, I don't think you can get away from those sweatshops.
No. And honestly, You
Same thing
can't.
with Nike and Jordan. You can't.
The most simple thing that we do today as a society is we cancel things. And I dare go one further. We cancel that shit publicly, and in private, we still use that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
See, and it happens quickly, right? Remember, real quick, I'm gonna jump in. You can have it. Remember the Gucci thing? Gucci thing was like, boom, big in your face. Look what they doing. They black facing us. They're showing a terrible time in the black community. Everybody cancel this shit. Everybody stop supporting them. They don't want our money anyway. You can go back to Tommy Hilfiger back in the day. You can go Jacobs. You can go everybody who said some crazy shit about basically black people. We done build this for you. We don't design these for you. And then you kind of let the dust settle. Back to Gucci this, back to the Gucci that. So it's you're right. Like it kind of you get out there in front, you picket fence for a week, month, and then before you know it, same people who said don't do it.
Forever revolving door.
Yeah, facts.
But I was just about to
The
bring
only
up the
one
whole
that I
Gucci
could
thing.
think stuck
Gucci,
was Cristal.
Yeah, because that was a cult. That was a real cultural hip.
I have not heard that in
I ain't
easily
heard- I was about
10
to say, I ain't
years,
heard
bro.
that name in forever.
Right.
Exactly.
But see,
some
look
things
behind that.
Some things can be disposable, really. When you
Yeah.
think about it, something like that. It's not as prevalent as when you think of the stuff that's going on with Hostess and not Hostess, the cereal manufacturers. They don't want to pay their employees. They got motherfuckers locked out, and they don't. Some people like, man, but I love my Raisin Bran. And you want to support them, but it becomes something that impacts your life on a day-to-day. Papa John's don't impact my life on a day-to-day. Cristal does not impact my life on a day-to-day. So it's an easy choice to say no to those products that don't impact you on a regular basis. Now, there's no way that I can actually, if just hypothetically, I read the news 10 minutes from now, BMW, they got a noose hanging in one of their design facilities or manufacturing plants. I'm not gonna go downstairs and get rid of $200,000 worth of cars.
That's where I was coming. I was coming for you right there.
No,
if you change your mind and I'll give you 50 cents on the dollar.
There's no way in hell. But that's the hypocritical nature of how we live now.
Well, I'm glad you hit that, P, because I promise you, the next question was going to be, is there something that the brand that you do support could do in a negative way?
Look,
they would have
to hurt me. They would have to hurt me or one of my loved ones. All right, that's my line right there. That's my line. Seriously, that's my line.
No,
I mean, it is what it is, man. That impacts my day to day. That's like my home builder. That's like saying my home builder, oh my God, they won't hire black people. They won't hire Mexicans. Well, goddamn, I'm staying in my motherfucking house.
No,
some shit you just can't cancel.
No, you can't cancel it. But here's the other side to that too, though. Here's the other side to that too, though, P. Moving it back to the Gucci thing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to go, quote unquote, and start canceling things because of the things that they subject themselves to and allow from these companies. I mention that because I'm going back to Gucci, and when the name I'm about to mention was just ranting about it maybe a week or two ago, Jim Jones. So you mean to tell me you and all your rich friends went up in Gucci and were treated like trash, treated like y'all ain't had no money, but your dumb ass is still sat in there for about 2 or 3 hours waiting for somebody to come serve y'all?
Yeah.
But now you want to cancel Gucci. That's your fault. Leave.
You had the choice to leave. Yeah, you had the choice to leave. Yeah.
So now you want to go out here and rent on this how we get treated. We don't need to support. But you just said y'all been sitting in the stores for 3 hours, and I bet you they continue to sit there waiting for a manager or somebody to come. You subject yourself to these things and then want everybody else to get on your bandwagon of this cancel culture. And that's not how it's going to be.
Yes.
And just like you said, because my home builder don't hire blacks or Hispanics, I'm going to live right here in my house as comfortably as I've been living in it since the day I closed on it when it was done.
They built my shit right. I'm good. I mean, and it's, look, we can want to take stances across a spectrum, but it's not that simple. It really isn't. It's not. You know, some things we can't throw, say, who built your car? Whoever built your car, as an example, we can't throw them in the same vein as Walmart. You've invested in your car. You shop at Walmart and you have other options. You can't get rid of a car that you paid $40,000-$50,000 for tomorrow so you can go buy a Toyota because you don't like Honda. It's not that simple. And we've reached a point where we want life to be so simple because we get our news, we get our information in 20-second sound bites, and we make decisions. And they're not logical decisions. We make emotional decisions.
So then I've been saving my money up for that Tesla. I was just ready to buy that damn Tesla.
Yeah, if you want to buy a Tesla, bro, you buy a
Now,
Tesla.
hold on. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
but then this comes out, and I know I feel a way about it, but I really want a Tesla. I was ready to give up gas. It's just that's where I was really putting my money in my mattress, and then this comes out, and I'm hypocritical if I still buy it, though I want the car, though I don't agree with the situation. Like,
how deep did the Tesla thing go? Was it
It's
just
still
one
going.
plant? No, I mean,
yeah.
was it just one
To my
location?
knowledge, it's just one location. To my knowledge, it's one location.
But over 40 something, and then since Elon has been there, over 40 lawsuits or something have been, you know, I guess he's been sued over 40 times or something.
So I see your point. Is it an isolated incident or is it systemic?
It seems like it's systemic.
Yeah, it seems like it is.
That's what it's sounding like.
Yeah. And in Will's case, when he's talking about Jim Jones and Gucci, right? That sounds like to me it's an isolated incident at a Gucci store.
Yes.
So you can't. It would be irresponsible, and it's just an example. It would be irresponsible to condemn all of something for one incident in one location.
But an isolated incident underneath a company that's already showed the actions, though, when it comes to Gucci.
Yeah.
He came out blatant as hell on the damn runway, catwalking, racist shit. You know, and folks had their moment, like we was talking about, moment in the sun, canceling that shit. The dust settled. Now everybody back to Gucci this, Gucci that. You know what I mean?
But that's what it is. Cancel culture is one. It's a way for those who first start the quote unquote cancel culture to excel themselves in this social status, right? So they want to get on this high social status because they started this whole cancel movement for Gucci. Oh yeah, now my social status is gonna be even greater because I'm gonna be known as the dude or the female who started to, cancel Gucci. You know what I'm saying? The other thing behind it is a lot of people want to use the cancel culture saying as a way to try to hold these corporations and companies accountable. But what are you doing further than just, so we're going to cancel that to hold them accountable? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no real accountability behind these culture cancel agendas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless y'all coming together to, help these people file lawsuits and, get the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Diversity and inclusion rewritten for these companies and all that. If you're not trying to do that, then what part of the cancel culture are you really trying to uphold?
Because the truth of the matter is, and sometimes this is just a hard, honest truth. Like, if they start to lose us as customers, it's really not affecting their bottom line. No. Like, Gucci's going to survive. Prada's going to, like,
13% of the population. Yeah. We're 13% of the population, and I don't know what percentage of that has actual buying power.
Yeah, and of that, don't get me wrong, they definitely have, I guess, gleaned a little bit. They've won a little bit off of the hip hop culture, supporting them and being in videos and being in every song and this and that. But I guarantee you, the heavy hitters, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, those type of companies, the revenue that would be lost from us would not
negligible.
It wouldn't shut them down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of where when people say, "Oh, we need to cancel them and do all this," I think that's where it goes out the ears for a lot of people because they like, well, shit. I mean, they don't know about my little 3,500 I just gave them, so fuck it. I like Gucci. Like Lil Wayne came out and says crazy shit. Like, fuck it, I do what I do, man.
That's the point I was trying to make. We need to ask ourselves how much of an impact, how much of these decisions are we making based on emotion? You know, and I think that's where we get lost in it. Are we willing to cut off our nose to spite our face?
Yeah.
In general, all of them.
Yeah. Oh,
we
definitely.
switched from being a fact-based society to an emotional-based society.
Yeah.
Since social media has come out, basically since the internet really fucked us up.
The internet made everybody so sensitive as hell. Everybody too doggone sensitive.
Yeah, and there's really no need to seek out information now. You know, despite the fact that you've got a bastion of information right here in your hand, people don't seek out valid and real, true information anymore. I don't understand it.
Like I said, they want that social gratification. It's instant. It's gonna get them warm and fuzzies, man. You know what I'm saying? And they fail to realize that the true dangers and consequences are distant and abstract. Like it's not there. It's nothing that's gonna be a quick turnaround other than your instant gratification and social status that's probably gonna last for a few days or a week.
And that's why it's easy to just move on to the next clip and snippet that you get. Chasing. So that being said, you know, in this context, when you do come across a company, and since we start with Tesla, at what point do you forgive them and move on and say, yeah, I did save my money for this Tesla. I'm going to get my Tesla. You know, they've recovered from these things. When do we forgive and move on?
Is that a period of time or what?
No, not for me. It's when they fix what's wrong. Well, it depends on what they did. If it's something small and it's just like, hey, my bad, fucked up. But if it's something systemic, like what are you doing to fix it? Yeah. What are you doing not only to fix it, but what are you also doing to contribute to society?
Is that you know what I mean? Is it something that looks like that? Like, I mean, I don't think Tesla's gonna walk away from Elon, though Elon has a story past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
fuck Elon. He's kind of a bitch.
Okay.
Let's be honest. I agree. Everybody holds him up here, but he hasn't really done shit. He was born rich. His fucking father owns a fucking ruby mine in Africa.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't this guy that pulled himself up from the bootstraps. He went to the best fucking schools. He bought his companies. He's not like out here building these fucking cars. He bought Tesla. Yeah. He bought SpaceX. Only thing he really had his hand in was like the beginning parts of what eventually became PayPal.
Okay, I come in with the heavy hitters. It's my DevOps guy right there, world renowned, speaking all over the world. You be saying that shit where you go to fucking other countries? Fuck Elon.
I wouldn't say fuck, but I don't mind saying it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a large part for me is, you know, has these companies have issued any or shown any contrition? Have they apologized openly? Now, and I mean genuine. I don't mean what the NFL has done over the last 5, 6, 7 years. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay, let's paint some shit in the end zone. Stick this shit on your helmet. We're gonna not hire black coaches.
They barely donated any money.
Fuck you, Kaepernick.
They barely donated any money. Jay-Z's only, like, I know you hate Jay-Z.
I don't hate Jay-Z. I see Jay-Z for who Jay-Z is. Jay-Z is
he made a business. He saw a business opportunity.
He saw a business opportunity.
Get in the room with NFL owners.
Exactly. And Clyde and I talked about this the day that he did this shit, and we did a show on it.
Called hell too.
we knew that this was going to be the end result because he's an opportunist. How can one man make significant changes in this, in an establishment of 31 white owners, one not? No, it's not that simple. This is a complex problem that requires some work and some solutions. And you can't just stick some shit in the end zone and a sticker on a helmet and say everything is great. It's a systemic problem that's been going on for 100 years.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's not going to fix that. He's going to line his pockets and say he's going to try.
NFL team.
Yeah. Now, I love the halftime show, but that was the biggest disappointment for me. This was another one of those gestures like, you know, we're putting money on the back of the quarter. You know, really? You just want us to shut the fuck up. This is a Juneteenth moment.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing about all the bullshit that we had to go through to get MLK as a holiday. Juneteenth is fucking Saturday. Juneteenth's tomorrow. We're like, what the fuck? You motherfuckers made a special session to make a holiday? It was just that simple. It was a shut up moment. And this was another one of those shut up black people moments. And Jay-Z facilitated it. That's where my disappointment comes in.
So you go to what Blackstone said yesterday on Around the Horn, when he basically said what you're saying, like, you know, taking nothing away from it. It probably will be one of the most memorable ones, halftime shows. But he was like, the issues that were brought up during the Kaepernick time period, 5 years, 6 years ago, almost now, have still not been addressed. Like you said, yes, they have put in racism in the end zone, put it on the back of a helmet. You can't see it from the stands. You can only see it when you're on TV. You know, in a lot of ways, perhaps maybe that's block checked. So then you take a person like me and is down here looking at our headline, supporting brands or products under situations like that, because I'm a season ticket holder. But, you know, as I've mentioned, you know, offline, is I'm supporting the organization of the city that I'm from and a team that I've admired since I was a kid. I understand they play in the NFL. I know that everything that they do is done underneath the umbrella of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But me buying a jersey for, you know, whatever player, I can't tell you how many ways that dollar's gonna cut. You're right.
Yeah, right.
Everybody might get a piece of that dollar, but at the end of the day, I'm not wearing something that says NFL. I'm wearing whoever's name. So to me, maybe that's my justification. Kind of going back to our last segment, maybe that's my justification. But perhaps still, I'm still part of the problem because I'm still supporting a situation like that.
Here's how you make up for it. When you're at the game and they play the anthem, just take a knee. And anybody that says anything to you, tell them to fuck off.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a contradiction too, being that, you know.
Well, we're gonna also be coming to bail them out too. So I mean,
yeah.
And we've seen what
I don't seen them. I don't seen them give the quick 1-2 to somebody. So I know we're gonna be balancing a while.
It's so. Can you still support a product made by a company and not support that company in some way? Or is it because you buy shoelaces from Nike and they got sweatshops, you still supporting sweatshops? Is that the gist of this?
I guess
it's a question that begs asking.
Yeah, it's I guess it's your care in the historical research of the chain, because you know everybody is stamped. So you take a product like Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble, man, they got their shit on everything. Right? So by the time you go there, you be like, oh,
they ain't got that shit in my bank account. The motherfuckers got my name.
So it's like, well, yeah, I am supporting this product, and then lo and behold, it's underneath that company in like 6-7 levels down. So who's really doing that much work when they at this damn store about to make the purchase? Probably nobody.
And that's what I was saying with the whole, you know, Target and Walmart thing. Where Ike was like, "Oh, Amazon sell they shit too." You know what I'm saying? That's like, I'm for real. That's like, I'll use a company like Herbalife, right? Yeah. You can buy Herbalife off Amazon. So if Herbalife had some shit going on, what you go, I'm just buy it off Amazon. Nigga, you still support Herbalife?
Yeah. Man, you can find everything on Amazon. It's a damn shame you can find everything on Amazon. I hate that I love Amazon as much as I do.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same example with the whole Jay-Z thing, like everybody did with Shaq. Like, bro, he saw a business opportunity. He knows one man can't change. He know he can't change what happened with that. Because what happened with it's still an issue that needs to be resolved.
So here's the question. Are our expectations of our own too high?
I'm gonna stop you right there before you continue on. That's the problem. That word right there, expectations.
Right. Good point.
Expectations are supposed to disappoint you, because the higher expectation is, you're only setting yourself up for higher heartache and disappointment.
Yeah.
You can't. That's like a marriage, right? You can't expect your spouse to love you a certain way if you don't love yourself a certain way, right? You know what I'm saying?
Clinky did.
Like, it's those expectations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that word expectations is always going to set you up for failure. So the more you expect something from a company, it's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
especially with. Go ahead, Ike. I'm sorry.
I think with the whole Jay-Z and Shaq thing, you gotta look at the bigger picture. Like the NFL thing is kind of fucked up, and the Papa John's thing is kind of fucked up. But are these two people doing a lot for the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a question to ask. But while I don't, and I'll use my opinion of how Jay-Z was brought into this and willingly accepted. I don't have to like him to appreciate or like what he's done, or that he's the face of this to appreciate whatever he's doing in the community. And I look at that situation. Sure, you're doing for the community, but you're also lining your pockets. You're doing for the community and you're doing for the NFL, but at what cost to you? If there's a cost to you, sure, I'm all for it. And I can agree with what you're doing, even if the outcome isn't what I expect it to be. But if you are benefiting and the overall cost is to everyone else that you are claiming to be fighting for, in this case, Black coaches and significant change in the NFL and how they address social justice issues. If that has not changed, your effort has been for naught.
Yeah. And I think you got to go back to I'm going back to when you talked about expectations. You can look at, the money that's spent in marketing, advertising. You can look at any end of the year event, or when Apple has their big event every year and they're pitching a new product. They are selling you on what this new product is, what it's going to do for you, how it's going to make you feel. So then your expectations, like Will was saying, they kind of align with that, right? Yeah. So now the bigger the product, the bigger my push, the bigger my love for this. We always talk about all the time when Apple first kind of was, catching wave and in the phone game, and Chuck and Ike would give me hell. Here we are in our small little circles, arguing, Android versus Apple. I mean, that's part of it. They want you to feel so connected to the shit that you will go not to blows or when we were fighting or nothing, but it's I will stand on my I want to defend this. And I think that's where the expectations come. Then you feel let down when you find out the nooses are hanging in the back of the warehouse. Like, what the fuck? Now I'm a big ass hypocrite. Everything I've ever said is contradictory. Like, damn, I feel stupid. I feel like I got pie on my face because this company has let me down. And I think that's how it happens to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that nobody sits on their couch and just be like, oh, I like that. I'm going to do. No, you listen, you read, you follow everything. You kind of look at the trending culture. You see who's doing it. And then before you know it, you're on the bandwagon, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's how expectations really, really affect you, because all of a sudden you're looking forward to that next whatever, oh shit, the iPhone 14, hell yeah, come on with it. You know what I'm saying? And you're overlooking probably the underlying shit, you know what I mean? The corruptness, take Facebook, for instance, whole different platform, whole different situation. But look how easy it was for everybody just to kind of brainlessly follow that path, knowing, not knowing that years later there'd be crazy fucking privacy suits and they just pitching everybody's shit out the window, basically selling your shit off.
Here's his shit for $1. Here's all of his shit for $1. But we're in this crazy time where everything is judged instantly. But I think so little thought is given to the larger picture, or even how it impacts us personally. And I really think that, people make these judgments in public and live contrary in private, and that, because there's really, who do you have to answer to?
That's where I was going. You're right. Say whatever you want to in an open forum.
Yeah.
Say whatever
you have to answer to.
But
Right.
Who's gonna tell you not to spend your money?
I look at it like this, man. At the end of the day, if you're gonna be that extreme with it, sit and ask yourself, if you're really gonna follow these companies like that and give all your heart and energy into what you say about culture cancel, this and other, sit down and ask yourself, how do my morals, my ethics, and my values line up with this company, and as to why I'm going so hard for them?
Yeah, and I think that's how that's how it's sold to you when you're trying to learn how to invest into a company, right? Like, do your research, find out the numbers, know their bottom lines. Do they give dividends? I get it. But when you truly invest in companies that you're going to say, look, I'm going to hold on to this company for a while. That's what they tell you to do. Does it align with who you are? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say a lot of people don't give a shit about that. We're looking for the quick.
I don't give a shit about that.
You ain't lying. You're not lying.
I want my damn money.
That's a given. That is a given. Look, the one thing that I will go to my grave saying, we all got selfish motives. I don't give a fuck who you are. Every person walking this earth has their own selfish motives, and they're gonna put their motives before anybody else's shit. You know, like
for
I said,
every single decision they make.
Everything.
Facts.
I'm not walking away from BMW if they do something wrong. If I had Tesla stock, like Elon and them, they better fix that fucking plant, and my stock better keep going up.
Shit.
Because it serves my purpose. It serves my purpose.
Right.
Period. I don't, and I think that the place where most of us try to live true is our criticisms are our criticisms. We're not projecting them onto other people. I'm not asking Ike or Will to not like Tesla because I don't like Elon Musk. If they don't like Tesla, hey, we're all in the same room. Period.
That is true. So, people love to not be in a room alone. So there's persuasion.
Exactly. But I would say that those are people who don't have any self-assurances in themselves, that they feel uncomfortable in how they feel. And if they've got company, that further justifies it. It becomes okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Where are you going at? What are you about to say, Ike?
So where's so it's a two-part question. Yeah. One is, where's the line? Like what if the company was sex trafficking children and covering it up?
God damn,
or you gotta make this or like the like the Catholic Church.
They've been saying that about
what if they were killing kids?
Man,
what if they were killing kids?
Ike, really, man,
and burying them in a pile.
Damn it, Ike.
What the fuck, Ike? Come on, man.
All right.
No, where's the line? There's got to be some line where you're gonna.
There has to be, and for I would agree for your own morality, there has to be a line. There has to be.
Fair.
Now, I'm not Catholic, and I think that if I was affiliated with any church and I found out that they were allowing priests to molest kids and they would hide that shit, I would definitely have a problem with it. I would walk away from it, but
not just hide it, move it. Move the priest to be with other kids.
Yeah, exactly. My stance on things like that is, or it's just religion in general. My grandmother once told me this years and years and years and years ago. You could worship God without a church.
That was my grandfather.
And you can, your belief systems are not based on a church. And I know this isn't directly addressing what your questions are, Ike. And I would go as far as saying that's pretty complex. And I really don't. Damn, man.
Yeah, that's
there's got to be a line. Like if
there has to be. You're right. Okay, so here, all right, I'll go one further. I'm gonna take your questions and add this to it. What's instrumental in your day-to-day? And if you found out that they were doing what you described, what would you do in regards to that thing, that whatever's instrumental in your day? How would that affect that relationship?
If we're talking stock, like a business, kind of like a business like asset relationship, I'd probably move it to something else. I agree. The first time, I would move it to something safe right away, like bonds.
Yeah.
And then,
it's going to tank once it comes out. So, but yeah, I get your point.
And then find something else. But like, I was kind of thinking of this in my head because I made it a point in like, I mean, you guys know on here that like I have a real estate company and do like real estate investing more so than any stock.
Yeah.
And I always said, like, if I come across someone that I'm trying to work with and they're racist as fuck, like, I ain't gonna work with them. Like, I'm not gonna do a deal with you.
Yeah.
But then I thought about that some more, and it's like, what if it's $100 million deal? Not that I'm anywhere near doing $100 million. What if it's $1 million deal?
But no, it's still
$100,000 deal.
Yeah. it's still
Like,
something
at what
that you got to
point
consider.
does that go out the window because, hey, I got all this money now and I can do whatever the fuck I want for my family? So there's two lines there. There's like the line that's going to make you leave, but there's also a line that's like, well, damn, that's a lot of fucking money.
Makes you look past your morals.
But that's how shit is fixed, right? Like, we don't know what happened with Kaepernick truly, other than there's an NDA. He got a certain amount of money. We'll never talk about it again. That financial corrupted idea that I can buy whatever, right? In this situation, I can buy you past your distaste for racism with the right dollar amount, right? The fact that that's even an idea, and I'm not talking about you personally, Ike, but just the fact that I know that I can do that if it came down to it, or I could cover some shit up that I know is terrible by throwing the right number at the right person, and I can live that way for years, is why everything is the way it is, right? Because everybody has a price.
Right.
And that's how these companies get out of this shit. Like, we hear about it, and all of a sudden you're like, well, damn, now I think about it. Shit, I ain't heard nothing else about that. Yeah.
NDAs need to go the fuck away for shit like that.
Man.
But are we wrong for having a price? Are we wrong for having a line?
I don't think so, because our whole society is built on capitalism. It's the only way to get by.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna get like $500,000 for like you saying the N-word 50,000 times and being racist as fuck, it's like I can take that $500,000 and like pretty much support my son who is black for the rest of his life.
Like, yo, I got to deal with this motherfucker for 2 hours to get through this situation for $500,000. I can do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's why Jay-Z said, or not Jay-Z, Biggie, more money, more problems. Because in all actuality, these companies that are in that viewpoint, that's what ends up happening, right? The 500,000 that maybe appeases you, like maybe it's 500 million in a Tesla situation, right? Or we just seen the guy at McDonald's. He had remember that came out not too long ago. He won that big lawsuit from McDonald's or whatever it was. He had been fighting them for like 10 years about black people getting treated differently, but he won some crazy amount from McDonald's.
Yeah, his McDonald's was in a black neighborhood, and he didn't get the same support from the franchise.
Oh, that one,
white, as you know, owners or franchise owners in white areas. But you know, morality does not keep the lights on.
True,
it doesn't.
It's true,
and really, it becomes a question of are you willing to die on that hill? Are you willing to sacrifice the well-being of your loved ones and your livelihood and yourself for a moral stance, your singular moral stance? And a singular moral stance obviously does not change an establishment like Tesla. It does not change an establishment like the NFL.
You see that generational gap difference. Because not too long ago, 50 years, 60, yes, people were willing to die for that. People were willing to march, get hit in the face for that. Social injustice. And though that's in the same vein, but slightly different, we've seen what that cost people. Sometimes some people pay the ultimate price in that situation, standing up for what they believe morally, not going to accept certain things. And I've said it before, like we are in the best time for our people in this country, though it's still the shitty time. That's how fucked up the situation is, right? Like, I mean, growing up, my father's life from the time he was 15 to 20 was much different from the time I was 15 to 20. Shit he couldn't do, say in certain places, I didn't have no issues doing and saying in certain places. Sure, every now and then somebody pop out, say something racist, but people wouldn't fucking like really trying to kill me for being in an establishment, you know what I'm saying, in the 60s, right? My father was born in 57, so into the 60s, still a ton of racism going on when he's going down south to see his kinfolk. Moral of the story, though we've progressed, a lot more people have money, a lot of black people now have homes. We are doing much better than they were 50 years ago, but we're still in a shitty ass time. That's what's so crazy. because people don't really understand that. You're right, because they'll throw certain numbers in your face and you can make stats, do whatever you want to, and the demographics will show you this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah. But you're still like, yeah, but there's still shit that's happening. Like you can take the white boy and the black boy that fought 2 days ago, who got fucking arrested and got
cuffed, back. 13-year-old black kid.
You know what I'm saying? So
you clearly illustrated that, sure, we as a people have grown and we've reaped the benefits of time, but the world around us has also grown.
Yeah, they know how to deal with it better.
Our growth didn't happen. Our growth didn't happen in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. They've just figured out a better way to, instead of disenfranchising us, they found an easier, better way to do it.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about going into an establishment and somebody getting somebody trying to mug us, kill us, or whatever. We have buying power. We've got limited buying power. We don't have the same buying power. Our dollars matter to an extent. It's really, we've reached a point where, okay, we don't want a repeat of the late 60s and the 70s, the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
So we make these concessions as a country to allow them some progress.
Yeah. It went from,
and everybody's happy.
Yeah, because it went from we'll block you from the attempt to vote to now we want to get those votes, right?
Yeah.
So you can just look at a situation like that.
They're still trying to block.
And now it used to be that way, but now we're seeing this concerted effort to back up from that.
Yeah, it was physical.
Because now it's like, oh shit, these motherfuckers actually come out and vote.
Yeah,
we gotta stop this shit.
Yeah,
so
now it's things like India. So you take Indianapolis, right? You got Marion County, and you got like a bunch of the counties surrounding it. So Indianapolis will have like a really high minority population compared to a really low minority populations of all the counties around it. But they'll do stupid shit like we'll have like 5 early voting centers that are open for a population of like over 1 million, whereas the surrounding counties that have like a small fraction of that, they'll have like 5, 8 for like there was one that had 5 fucking early voting sites, and they had like 50,000 people in the entire fucking county.
But there's only 5 to serve the million. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So like we'll have like 4-hour waits to vote early. And they'll just they can just walk right in, vote, and be done.
Yeah. And then we all know people value their time. They got shit they got to do. And so we were talking about this during the election when they were talking about what were they trying to restrict water and just dumb shit. Like you couldn't.
Yeah, you can't give somebody in line a bottle of water.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's crazy. And because
I'm out there my Camelback, fuck it.
We've gone out en masse and voted and changed, some of the political landscape. The reality is now that, something has to happen. And here's the test. Once it happens and we have to stand in line to vote, are we willing to make that sacrifice that our ancestors used to make?
The thing is,
are we willing to do that?
Can't make that sacrifice.
Right. Because a lot of them have to be at work.
Yeah, and they're
keep the lights on.
Get off.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts. So the system, it's tried true. It's working as it intended. Yeah, it's working as it's intended to. So it's
we had an hour already.
Really crazy, weird time that we live in, and I like to think that our responsibility is owning our portion of it, owning our shit, as we say.
Facts.
When I think about this cancel culture, we're a party to it. We're a party to it as a people. The one thing that I can say that with almost certainty, and y'all can tell me if you don't agree, we are quick to judge our own, and in a lot of cases, rightfully so. But in some cases, that judgment can't be immediate. We have to get context. We have to get content. We have to get knowledge about what has led to these situations that we are faced with judging. And I don't think that we do that.
That's fair. That's fair. Any scandal that comes out in waves, somebody that owns some kind of blog, somebody that owns some kind of like, you know, internet fucking blogging site, they posting videos, they posting articles, and everybody is just throwing stones quicker they can. Now, again, some of this shit is, you know, probably warranted. You know, you got some R. Kelly shit, you got the Bill Cosby thing.
Jussie Smollett. Look, the first time that shit came out, fucking Black America was like, that motherfucker did that shit.
Yeah, bro. And it's just, you know, you look at these situations now. Another one we're facing is like what's going on with Trey Songz. We had Deshaun Watson, you know, over the last 2 years or so. Like, you're like they're quick to boom, 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 and then if the shit comes out that, you know, that person is not guilty, then it's like, oh, no harm, no foul. Like, okay.
What did Trey Songz allegedly do?
Anal rape people.
Oh,
yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is kind of like, you know, Chris Brown has some allegations. Remember, T.I. and Tiny had some allegations of what they were doing. Kobe. Yeah, Kobe had them shit, you know. Yeah. Kobe went from America's favorite and he kind of fell off the hill a little bit. Then he came back up. I mean, man, this shit is, you know, the Cosby thing now. If you're watching the Cosby special, boy, that shit is hard to watch, man.
I've been meaning to watch that.
It's a different, it was a different time. And I'm not, that doesn't give it a pass, but it's just like, there was no real hidden factors. Like Bill was openly saying shit. Like, I dropped one of these in there. Like he's on like a, think of like him being on
a talk show. He was on a talk show and said that shit.
Yeah, I popped one of these in there and they just go crazy. What? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, openly. I was thinking about that the other day when I saw it on my thing. And so I asked y'all this question.
Good point, Donna.
Mm-hmm. Did you stop watching the Cosby Show?
No.
Would you boycott that over what he's done?
No, that's like look. I was listening to R. Kelly today.
Look, there you go. I still listen to
I was bumping that shit in the car on my way to Phoenix today.
Separate the man from the offense or the action, or what they say, separate the man from the music in this case.
Yeah,
when you boycott stuff like that, you hurt a lot of other people too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Every other actor on that show, like if they pulled the show off the air, every other actor is gonna.
They're all impacted. Yeah.
As is like... Go ahead,
Will.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as is like a lot of the crew probably too. Anybody that has residual income coming from it. But
I mean, if we would strictly just go and cancel people off of allegations and all this, like. We can look at Michael Jackson.
Shit.
I still listen to his music.
God damn. That's a heavy hitter, boy. That's who gonna cancel.
I wonder if he would have got canceled if the internet was this big.
Probably.
So well, not even just the internet, social media.
Probably.
Would he have gotten canceled?
Probably. Probably.
I wouldn't have canceled.
But I mean, look, man, like Darnell Rollins said, he made Thriller, dog.
Man,
he made Thriller. Look, and on a serious note, he had to deal with what came his way in the legal system. I'm not gonna stop listening to his music. R. Kelly's facing his judgment. I'm not gonna stop listening to his music. Cosby, I've been watching Cosby shit since I was a kid. Uptown Saturday Night, all those good old 70s flicks. He's got to deal with his shit, man. That's not ours to carry, and I think that would be irresponsible of us to completely eliminate the art that all of these artists provided.
Man,
it doesn't make it less art because they're flawed humans.
They're all human. That's like I'm saying. You bringing up that stuff, immediately those type of artists came to mind. Snoop Dogg, he had the murder trial and all that. He got an allegation going against him now about raping somebody. Like this, so we gonna stop listening to Snoop? You gonna stop? You know what I'm saying? They gonna pull Snoop from the Corona commercials and all this? Like, no, they not doing that.
So I'm gonna segue with this, and then we're gonna get ready to close because we're running over time. But that's a great point because the way you brought that up, P, about that's them dealing with that shit. I think that's the same argument we try to portray when we're talking to people that are white people about black people and how they feel about, you know, slavery and this and that. Whoever was in your family or whoever you knew as a friend or generations back, whatever, you do not speak for that person. Right. So I am not blaming you on the spot at that moment for racism. You had nothing to do with that. Right. So the same thing with how we are watching Cosby Show or we were fucking listening to, you know, R. Kelly all these years ago, whatever. We had no idea the truth in the matter of what was going on behind those scenes. Maybe there was a few things that came out and got covered up or whatever may have you, but that's on that person. Right. Like, that's on that person at the end of the day. And so I think a lot of people have a problem with that because we could talk about how critical race makes people feel. You know, states are passing fucking laws now that are saying if you feel emotionally basically hurt that we're talking about critical race, like you can throw a red flag. What the fuck? Like on this day, today, if I'm talking to a white person about slavery, unless I am being completely ignorant, I'm blaming this person in front of me. I'm the crazy one in this conversation. I'm just talking about a general fucking thought process to the understanding of, yo, this happened and you can't forget about it. Right. Yeah. Like, and we can't keep going along telling kids of all races and all creeds, this is the only thing that really happened in American history. That's bullshit. And I think that's where that position comes from. But everybody takes offense to as if I'm talking about you. So the idea that we still support the Cosby Show, yeah, Bill Cosby is the creator and the big part of the show. But still, there were still values in that show, and there's still other people connected, like I can Bill said. So we have to understand what we're trying to point out. I think that's hard in conversation because a lot of people don't come to conversation with clear thoughts. They just come with emotions. Back to the emotional part.
They just come with emotions. They want to play the victim.
Facts. All right, we're gonna go around the room, man, because we running 10 minutes over. So Will, I start with you. You got any closing thoughts, bro?
No, I was going through the comments and I realized, you know, when I get to talking, I just get to talking. So my bad on the N word. Like I said, I went through the comments, you know what I'm saying? But my closing remarks, man, is just like I said, like I said a while ago, if you're going to get that extreme into this cancel culture, which technically only been around for 3 or 4 years, if you're going to get that extreme with cancel culture, just make sure you're doing that. You being that extreme with the way your morals, your ethics, and your values line up with the things that you are trying to cancel and go hard for. Well, you don't even go hard for your neighbors next door. You don't even go hard for your friend who has a black-owned company and they out here, you know, doing things like that. You know what I'm saying? I go hard for CEO and the doctor. I go hard for more billionaires out there. You know what I'm saying? That's my homegirl Angie clothing line. I go hard for the people I know that have businesses. You know what I'm saying? I can name them all, but I'm not. But just make sure you're going hard, just as hard as you're going for this cancel culture, that your morals, ethics, and your values line up just as perfectly as you're going hard with these cancel culture things.
Well said. Big Ike, what you got, big dog?
Oh, I've been trying to fit this in and I couldn't figure out a way. So now it's perfect. The funniest boycott. It was 2018-ish, I think April, when Yeti cut ties with the NRA, and white people who love their Yeti, like Yeti bumper stickers, Yeti coolers, Yeti mugs, lost their shit and started shooting their $300 to $400 fucking coolers and blowing them up. Y'all are fucking stupid.
That shit's happening with Carhartt now.
It happened with Wrangler too when they was it Little Nas X?
Yeah.
So that was my point one. My point two, going back to the Tesla thing and plantation, I'm about to put one of my old employers on blast real quick. DFAS HR. They had a row of all black people sitting in their cubicles. The SES over HR loved to call that MLK Boulevard.
Wow. And this is HR.
Yes.
Shit, they DOD connected. Shit, they pay us.
Defense, Finance, and Accounting Services.
Jesus Christ. MLK Boulevard. God damn, that ain't what it is.
Well, let them sisters and brothers keep cutting my checks every month.
Yeah, they cut your checks.
Straight out of Indianapolis, for real. Like real shit. Like our cut right out of Indianapolis. I used to make that joke to Ike, like, look, I hope I'm getting paid. Add me a little bit extra. when he worked there. Shit. All right.
Wow.
What you got, Doc? How you getting out of here?
Man, hey, just instead of making emotional judgments, look for context and content.
That's it. Oh shit!
That's it.
I thought you was about to do your Doc thing and really go.
Nah, bro. That's it. I think
looking at my phone. I'm like, let me make sure I said off my point.
We've talked about this in such depth that it doesn't require any more discussion.
Facts. All right, man. Well, Ike, Will, I appreciate y'all. All love, my bros. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate y'all.
We gotta have y'all more, man.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Season, I just want to have guests, bro. Like it's fun having guests. So let's look for more opportunities for conversation. Any kind of points y'all got out, and that goes to anybody who's viewing or who will listen once we post. Anything that you want to talk about, instead of just hitting us up, like come on the show, man. We ain't got nothing but time, and we can do this, man. So to the next one, it's been CEO and the Doctor. Y'all take it easy.
Hey, you guys don't hang up yet. It's just something. Just see where you go. Anyway, something came on the news today. Since I know all of us are hoop fans, I didn't know that guest players can go into Barclays and play if they're unvaccinated, but Kyrie cannot play at home.